If you are a psychologist, if you are a nurse, if you are a teacher, you might want to listen to this video. If you're none of the above or closely correlated to these areas of interest, then go TikTok somewhere else. This is not for you. You who have been called to these industries, especially if you had a genuine calling to these industries. As a child, you wanted to get into teaching. As a child, you wanted to get into the idea of helping people mentally, emotionally, through psychology, through therapy, through social work. As a child, you wanted to get into nursing or become a doctor, but it's a calling, something that's in your stomach. I'm just letting you know that society created these jobs as the closest reference to something that is a sample of bigger. And how you know this is because when you get into these environments, take teaching for example, you tell me, are you happy with those 40 children that you sit there with as a teacher? Are you happy when you sit there as a nurse taking on another patient, and you realizing in each of these industries that there is a societal context of what is assumed is good for people, but you, the empath, you, the intuitive, you sit there as a psychologist, a therapist, you've done your articles, you've done your teaching degree, honors, you've done all the qualifications, your diploma, whatever, in teaching, in psychology, in nursing, in the doctor stuff. But you're always serving the man. You're always serving society, the construct, the bureaucratic environment. And as you get into that environment, even the staff room, the principal, you get a taste of my way or the highway, and you see how that affects the children. You see how that affects the patients. You see how that affects the people that you're seeing as a therapist, because the construct that the societal environment that provided you just this job, which is just a sample of your potential. It is not your potential because technically you are gifted. And so if you've never been taught outside of teaching what is more, you will think teaching is your capacity. You will think me being a psychologist is my capacity. You will think me being a doctor is my capacity. And for as long as you keep that in your mind, you will live under the circumstances of the law, the government, and the societal idea of what is right. And then you see how the kids are affected by it. You see how your patients are affected by it in nursing when the medical institution, in all their intelligence, they give this medication and you can see it's not helping. You're a doctor. As a doctor, you taught and trained, hey, medication, but you can see medication is not helping this patient. But you taught that this is the way you must initiate, diagnose, and then you just see this person come back. The arme psychologists, the psychiatrists, they must just give medication. You can see this person is creating a codependency on medication on you. Nothing is healing. Don't even talk about the teachers that see that this construct of 30 children in a class, one teacher, is not making any difference. So you're still under the regime. Within your passion and your ambition, you can be as passionate as you want about what you commit yourself to, but this regime will suck the living day out of you, the living energy out of you, because it does not care for your well-being on top of not caring for the people that you ambitiously seek to be there for. Because all of these jobs have one theme in common. You are empathic. The doctor is empathic. The psychologist is empathic. The therapist is empathic. The nurse is empathic. The teacher is empathic. So if you work with someone like me, I'm an intuitive. I know you are gifted and you've only been exposed to the societal way to practice your gift, which is I'm a teacher, I'm a nurse, I'm a doctor. Now, if you live outside of that regime, you are not construct to an idea of how to treat your patients, treat your children, and even the approach you take to teaching, the approach you take to healing, which is not based on medication. It is based rather on intuition. From microbiome to microbiome, your stomach is active, my stomach is active. If you are taught how to engage with the microorganisms energetically fused and electrified, it's stomach to stomach that serves each other. But you can't do that times 50 patients that you're seeing in a day, 50 kids that you are interacting with in a day. Don't even talk about the environment of those rotten individuals who once came into the teaching, nursing, doctor, therapy environments. They came once when they were young with the ambition to be of service to people. But you there, young blood, coming into this space, you go to the staff room, you go to the doctor's environment, you go to your work environment, and you notice these relics, these people who once were empathic, but they are fossilized by this regime, this system that they couldn't go against. So they just become a fossil, an extension, a projection of what this idea of how to treat people with no empathy, no intuition, and it's just by the script, by the law, not by connection from human to human. And you see the result of those environments, those people affecting you. You go to a school, you see this with other teachers. You go to the mental health environment, psychologists, you see how this affects people. I have people coming to me saying, I've worked with psychologists, I'd rather work with you, Nathaniel. You don't force medication over me. You literally are talking to the people who are passed on in my family, and I don't have to tell you anything. I don't sit pitching a bias. Like in therapy, like in psychology, like with a therapist, the person listens to your story from an emotional point of view. If you listen to emotions, that's one-sided, that's biased. But if someone is gifted, you don't let the person talk. You literally have a connection to their auric field. So then you can talk on behalf of what has not been spoken. That is the difference between a psychologist, a therapist, and someone who is gifted. You don't talk as the client. The person who is gifted speaks your truth and says, I see there is a father missing. And as a consequence, this has affected your health. Well-being, mental well-being. I see the mother did this. I see the divorce when you were 9 literally created that fibroid situation. I see that you're the eldest, then you had to take on this at a young age. There's no tell me about what's going on. You tell me which is better. And also, on top of that, it is the system that teaches you to go about this approach, because the system only knows so much. And then on top of that, they say medication. Teaching, it's the same setup. In each of these environments, they don't teach how you, the doctor, can be regulated from all the patients that you see. The nurse, all the patients that you see have energetic energy. And if they are sick, that means they are depleted, not only in the physical, but there is a weight of that which is energetically rotten energy that has affected you, the empath. Tell me, where in your nursing degree do they teach you how to care for yourself as opposed to just teaching you how to care for the other? Where in your doctor's degree do they teach you how to care for yourself energetically besides just curing someone or practicing to help someone? Where in teaching do they teach you, as much as you're there for the children, as much as you're there to help them learn and you have that special connection with them, where does it teach you how to regulate yourself energetically? In all your years, where? Why do you think so many psychologists, therapists have crash outs? Then they come to me. I say, didn't your flippin' education and all that money you spent on degree, honors, masters, where did you spend all that money just to not be informed how to care for yourself, but it's just the other that you were taught how to care for? How does that make any sense? How do we keep you consistent in your passion if this is not being served in awareness for you first, outside of the other? As a spiritual person who is initiated into a intuitive practice, you are taught first how to care for your home, which is your body, your mind, your soul, so that he who comes to you learns not only how to heal themselves, but they bear witness that you are sound. I can't tell you how many teachers I go to and I say, the quality of this person's energy is low. Their vitality is low. You're sitting with a psychologist that don't even look mentally well. You're going to a teacher who don't even look emotionally and mentally well. A doctor whose arteries themselves is blocked, but you want to talk to me about healing. How does that make sense? And I'm not surprised because, again, I say, who is your teacher? The system or that which is beyond the system? And that which is your passion. Did you just seek this title, doctor, therapist, teacher, nurse? Because the system provided a sample of just a small, tiny sample of what is truly a deep calling, but you've never been exposed to the bigger idea of how much more you have to offer, especially if you don't use the system as a reference of your potential. There is flaws in this system. As much as it is there to help people there and it's been working for a while, the quality of the endurance of the person taking up that role as a nurse, you Virgos, as a teacher, those Aries people, those Sagittarius people, the doctors, the mental health psychologists, the therapists, you guys are in these environments and you are depleted. Your vitality is low. And you're not taught how to regulate the energetic environment of how much you take in and the quality of how much you are taking in. We're not talking about sick day. We're not talking about leave. We're not talking about a vacation. We're talking about how to protect yourself, how to regulate yourself in accordance to your passion. You're not taught. So then how can you say you're there making effective change in someone's life if we are just allowing you to then decrepitly exhaust yourself? And then you spaz out. You lose the passion for the kids. You lose the passion for that environment where you want to give as a psychologist, but people are hounding you. There's no boundaries. People are hounding you. There's no boundaries. As a nurse, you're just there. As a doctor, you're just there, going the extra mile. It's like being in a relationship, in a family relationship, in a personal relationship where you always the one giving and you are not served back. Yet you gave so much. You paid so much from the system or to the system to be of service within the system, within this title, and then you are neglected energetically. Many of you are intuitively inclined. I teach you who are intuitively inclined, who just found a little sample of what you think your potential is through a title. I teach how you must regulate in accordance to your dominant elements and in accordance to essentially what is your potential, and to be aware of how to move this energy so that you don't just sit there and say, I'm stuck, I'm overwhelmed, I tried bouncing from staff rooms to staff room, school to school, I tried being a this nurse or that nurse, but it's still the same, Nathaniel. I'm a psychologist, I'm a therapist. I can't tell you how many times I've done readings. You go to a psychologist, that psychologist comes to me. You go to a doctor. Do you know who the doctor goes to? Me. Goes to people like me. You go to a teacher, you get guidance from a teacher. Do you know who the teachers go to? Me. And people like me. They don't go to the institution that taught them, that literally has been there with them for I don't know how many years. They're just learning, books, lectures, supervisors. That very environment is not the environment that teaches them about their energetic well being. In depth, not just a short course, in depth. Hey, you're going to take up you're going to be a psychologist. So your connection to people is going to be very up there, bro. So this is how you connect, you are of service, but this is also how you disconnect. So that you can serve not only yourself, but also the person, so that there's not a codependency beyond the veil. No, you're not taught that. As a nurse, it's the same thing. As a teacher, the quality of the kids who come to you are not all clean. They are repositories of what is going on in the family. They're holding on to you, hugging on to you. Cords are being connected or established, and you are drained. Not by one, by two, 30 children, 40 children in a class. Who's protecting you? Who's looking after you? Question this system and think very nicely. Does this not sound like a situation where you're in a family and you're the only one giving, and no one gives to you? You in a flippant relationship, you giving, you cheated on, you still go back. It sounds like you are similar in that similar relationship with the empath and the narcissist. The only thing is the system is the narcissist. Whether you call yourself a doctor and it's just medication. Whether you call yourself a therapist and it's just medication. And the person must pitch to you what's wrong as opposed to you tapping into your intuition and being taught how to read people without you needing them to talk. As a teacher, learning how to regulate all those bastards, 30 children, regulate their shit, not just be deprived from them, so that the teacher illuminates in that classroom. The nurse must illuminate in that flippin' hospital. The flippin' psychologist, the mental psychologist, the therapist, they must illuminate, be strong. They themselves must not be weak. But the system, that narcissist didn't teach you this about you. They don't even go individual and say, you are an air element, you are an earth element, you are a fire element. And in accordance to your passion for this sacrificial idea of what you want to be and how you want to make a change in people's life, this is how you look after yourself. So that you can be there over an endurance, a longer period of time, strong for the people who are going to depend on you. No, they don't teach you that. They just teach you how to be a function according to their rules. Why do you think Gabor Mate left the traditional form of serving people? As someone who was giving people the traditional form of therapy and then said, something is not right. Those very people in those mental health institutions, those psychotherapy institutions, they know what the vibes is there. The doctors, they know that the flipping medication is not healthy. The teachers know that the form of how that system is teaching the kids is not working. But narcissist, like an abuser, can't speak up, just go ahead. Blue eye each Monday, blue eye each Monday, blue eye each Monday, knocking the shit out of any passion that you had for this industry in the first place. But you stay in that abusive relationship because according to the limiting idea of how society is set up, you think your potential is just teacher, nurse, doctor, psychologist, therapist. I'm here to help people, Nathaniel, and that's all I can do. This is as far as I can go. I don't work within the confines of those environments. I've breached out broader. I work with God intimately. I work with that which is spirit intimately. And I've just seen it is not limited to a title like I'm a doctor, I'm a nurse, I'm a teacher. Be aware of the narcissistic environment you are working for. As a friend would have told you, be aware of the husband that is a narcissist in this relationship that's just sucking the energy out of you. Be aware of the wife that's a narcissist in this relationship that is sucking the energy out of you. You have a passion for a reason because you are gifted. Hear me very clearly. You're a doctor, you want to serve. You're a nurse, you want to serve. You're a teacher, you want to serve. You're a therapist, you want to serve. Psychologist, you want to serve. But you are not taught properly why you have this inclination and how to care for it. They're using you, the system, and abusing you, making you think you're mad. But you have something there. Don't be a fool for the system. Don't say no one told you, nah?